Green Day. If you know me, you know I really like Green Day. They were one of my favorite bands of all time until Green Day had its downfall, but I'll talk about that later. Green Day was formed in 1987 and was originally called Sweet Children, but later stuck with Green Day. The band made 3 EPs, and the band's drummer at the time left because he wanted to pursue education, like a nerd. But then Trey Cole joined the band, and with his drumming skills, the band made Kerplunk, which people loved, but there was a problem. Because the band and the label they had at the time made the album with no expectations to sell a bunch of copies, distribution sucked. Fans kept on asking where can they buy their records after shows, so because of this, Green Day signed the label with Reprise, a much more professional label. But because of this, they were called sellouts for signing to a major label. And Green Day wanted to prove everyone wrong. And they did that. They brought punk into the mainstream with their album Dookie. Dookie was a hit, selling over 10 million copies in the United States and 20 million copies worldwide. And while Green Day was gaining popularity, they played at WoodStock 94, in which the band had a mud fight with the crowd, and I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, we're done. Goodbye.
The concert starts with,
"Oh, what is this fucking free hippie love shit? How you doing, all you rich motherfuckers?"
and then the band plays Welcome to Paradise. And whenever Joe says Welcome to Paradise, he moves his mouth away from the mic to play his guitar. After this song, Joe starts talking to the crowd and calls them hippies and tells them to do the wave. And then after that, the band plays, quote, the song off our album No One Has, which I think was a diss at their old record label. And after this song, Joe says,
"Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we suggest that you throw mud. That's fun.
Throw mud at each other. See how many stupid things you can do to each other all at one time."
which was a red flag. And after people started throwing mud at the stage, the band were encouraging the crowd to throw mud at the stage and themselves. They played Chump, Longview, and Basket Case back to back until Joe came back on the mic and again started taunting the crowd, calling the crowd hippies and again making fun out of them. They then played When I Come Around, and the crowd just kept on throwing mud at the stage, the crowd, the security, and the crowd were throwing it at each other. After the band played FOD, the stage was covered in mud, and so were the band members. They were covered in mud. The band played Paper Leonards while the crowd were still throwing mud at the stage. And then Joe just has a whole stroke and throws mud back into the crowd, which just makes the crowd throw more mud back. The weird thing is that Mike and Trey just kept on playing their instruments. Joe just keeps throwing mud at the crowd, and the crowd just keeps throwing mud on him and the stage, making the stage an entire mess. And the funny thing is that none of the band members seem to really have a problem with it. The band were encouraging the crowd to throw mud, and the band didn't really say to stop throwing the mud. They just played along. Joe starts talking to the crowd and tells him to say more stuff. And then the band plays We're Not Gonna Take It by Twister Sister. I'm not even joking. The crowd sings the lyrics and then goes back to that riff they've been playing this entire time. After a bit more banter, it seems that Joe got tired and just told the crowd to tell them to shut the fuck up. And then they left. And since the band leaves, people go on the stage and just start running around. What's a bunch of hippies?
If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up. I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I know enough to know if you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
This concert was a disaster. A lot of people were hurt, and even one of the band members were hurt. But even though all that happened, it was still a fun time. I think the band liked the fact that this happened. This was probably their biggest gig at the time, and the crowd was so large that Joe didn't feel like there was a connection between the band and the crowd. That's why the band kept on talking to the crowd after songs and taunting them. And the mud fight made everyone connected and involved. This is probably, if not one of the best Green Day concerts. Not for the music, music, or how Joe had a stroke on his guitar. It was about how the crowd had a connection with the band. This also pushed the band's punk, rebellious reputation they had. After this, Green Day has continued to make more music and made one of the best pop, punk, rock, whatever albums of all time. And then they continued to make more music. And then they made this. Yeah, this sucks. Green Day isn't as good as it used to be, but whenever I think about the golden age of Green Day, I either listen to this or I just watch this concert because it's just so fun. By the way, if you're asking where's that long video I said I was working on, the file got corrupted in Vegas Pro 19, and they couldn't export. And that's taught me to not promise any videos until they're on my YouTube. So yeah, that was the video. This has been Team Crew for Life, and bye.